there, YouTube. Bed Bath and Bongs here. So through different turn of events, my insomnia is starting to kick in a little bit. So I am gonna be making a little bit of videos and maybe streaming a little bit tonight. I've come to a conclusion on vaccines. And this is gonna be a hot take. Some of you out there may disagree with me. But after seeing all these stories about those in the Trump administration, Congress, and then high-profile people like Biden, Mike Pence getting their vaccine on television. Biden, by the way, got his vaccine given today on television for everyone to see. At least they're saying that's the vaccine. And with all this coming out about them literally trying to cut in line in front of frontline healthcare workers and the elderly in nursing homes, it does lead me to believe that this vaccine, at the very least, is not a purposeful poisoning of the population. These rich people and so a lot of these people behind the vaccine, they want the vaccine as well. So much that they're willing to cut in front of people who rightfully should have it first. So that leads me to believe that this vaccine probably is effective and mostly safe. So when the time comes, I do plan on getting the vaccine. And I hope everyone does as well. So, it's effective. So, again, many of you may disagree with me, but time will tell. Maybe I'm a total idiot here, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We'll see. That being said, I don't fault people for not wanting to take the vaccine, for being mistrustful. It has been kind of shady how it's been developed, and um, again, they're not giving it to the frontline workers immediately like they should. But it is what it is. Thank you for watching. Another thing I wanted to talk about, because it's something that many of us progressives have been paying attention to for the past week or so, is Jimmy Dore's pressure on AOC and many other progressives, mostly AOC, to refuse to vote for Pelosi's speakership if she doesn't push for Medicare for all, or at the very least allows a House vote. And overall, I have to say, I do agree with Jimmy Dore. Us progressives, we're always pussies when we get into power and nothing changes, and we wonder why. So I am a big subscriber to the kind of strategies that Jimmy Dore is going for here, because if they, no one thinks it would pass. Jimmy Dore doesn't think it would. He doesn't have a snowball's chance in passing. That being said, those Democrats who don't vote for it, we now have them on the record, and they're whatever the Democratic version of a fucking rhino is. Democrat in name only, a DIno? No good goddamn dinos. That's what they are. I'm sorry, if you don't vote for a Medicare for all type system when opportunity arises, you're not a Democrat. You're a Republican light. Get the fuck out of the party. You don't belong here. You're a no good dino. Time for you to be extinct. That being said, I do think Jimmy Dore has been a little hard on AOC. I do think she's a progressive, and I do think she is trying to fight the good fight. I think she's going about it a sort of bankrupted fashion, and I'm sure she would disagree. And maybe we're wrong. Maybe, I mean, because Jimmy Dore is just a big idiot comic on the internet. I love him. That's what he is. That's what he admits to be. So maybe AOC's playing some 3D chess here, but I don't see it. I don't know. I do feel like he needs to go a little softer on AOC. I see some shit where he's comparing her sort of like to the rest of the corporate Democrats. I feel like that's a little unfair. but I do like the spirit, Jimmy. I mean, the man is a rabble rousing son of a bitch, and that's kind of why I love him. But take it down just a notch, brah, just a notch. That being said, we do need Medicare for all, and we need it yesterday. I would actually like to share a little story with you. I'm not going to give names, of course, but a friend of mine recently had an issue. And keep in mind, he didn't have health insurance. He wasn't paying for any. He's not eligible for access here in Arizona anymore. I think he probably was at one point, but nothing ever came up. He's developed a mass in his face. Um, Sort of like under his eye and stuff. I don't know the exact spot. I didn't get that in depth with him about it. But he, um, he himself, he had to miss work from his job for um, about 2 weeks. He's hurting really bad for money. He's got hospital bills he has to worry about now, and he hasn't even had the surgery to remove the mass that's in his face. It's non-cancerous. They took a biopsy and such, and I mean, at least there's that. But this is gonna fuck him up financially for quite some time, and we pray for him. Stuff like this would be avoided if we had a Medicare for all or a public option or some sort of government run system. Things like this just wouldn't happen. Another thing I'd like to share with you is a story I stumbled across from my paper in Germany concerning a particular issue with neo Nazis infiltrating the police there. Which, as we all know, it's illegal straight up to be a Nazi in Germany. They don't have a lot of civil restrictions like that, but that's one of them. Is you cannot be a Nazi. You cannot preach it. You cannot not have paraphernalia. It's just the belief itself is outright illegal. But there are many far right types in the police, as that kind of job would attract those kinds of people. Just saying. More often than not, a police officer is going to be a Republican than a Democrat in this country. Um, just makes sense. I mean, again, not true in every case, but more often than not. But yeah, in Germany, there was a particular issue concerning this Turkish lawyer. Her name is Seda Basay Yildiz. She's a German defense lawyer of Turkish descent. She specializes in Islamist terrorism cases. Um, but over the years, she's gotten so many threats. At one point, it turns out her address was leaked by the police. There were at least 38 police officers suspended because they seemed like as if they were sharing the information. And not only that, they were part of neo-Nazi opinion groups online where they shared pretty horrible memes. Hitler with like patriotic music playing and like didn't kill enough Jews. There weren't enough ovens. That kind of shit. And it's just it's a real problem still, even in Germany where it's literally illegal. Her daughter's life has been threatened repeatedly. She gets calls at home and work. And she's changed addresses several times. Her address keeps constantly getting leaked. Even when it's under special government protection, that her address shouldn't be leaked, it somehow gets leaked. Because there's fucking Nazis in every branch of the government. So it's just not America, everybody. Even Germany still got some Nazis. But yeah. So this is a fun story from The Sun. Brazil President Jair Bolsonaro bizarrely claims COVID vaccine could turn people into crocodiles and bearded ladies, quote unquote. The strongman president, who previously dismissed the disease as a little flu, also said the Pfizer jab could give men effeminate voices. I already have an effeminate voice, so, haha. Haha. This comes after Bolsonaro, who tested positive in July after ignoring social distancing guidelines, said he would not get the vaccine because he has antibodies, dismissing his critics as idiots. On Thursday, Bolsonaro slammed drug giant Pfizer for allegedly not taking responsibility for side effects for the vaccine, which has went through the stages of clinical trials. He said, in the Pfizer contract, it's very clear. We're not responsible for any side effects. If you turn into a crocodile, that's your problem. If you become superhuman, if a woman starts to grow a beard, or if a man starts to speak with an effeminate voice, they, Pfizer, won't have anything to do with it. The rollout of the vaccine started on Wednesday in Brazil, which has the world's second highest coronavirus death toll, with 186,356 fatalities. Speaking of his refusal to get vaccinated, the Brazilian president said, some people say I'm giving a bad example, but to the imbeciles, to the idiots that say this, I tell them I've already caught the virus. I have the antibodies, so why get vaccinated? Bolsonaro has repeatedly played down the pandemic, despite more than 7 million Brazilians being infected with the respiratory disease. He took 3 weeks to recover from the virus and later said, I knew I was going to catch it someday, and as I think unfortunately nearly everyone here is going to catch it eventually. What are you afraid of? Face up to it. Last week, the leader said Brazil was at the tail end of the pandemic, yet the country is enduring a dramatic surge in cases. On Wednesday, a record of more than 70,000 new daily cases was recorded. The following day, over 1,000 people died. What a idiot. I mean, he's right in saying that, a company that makes a vaccine, it's kind of built into it that they're not responsible for any side effects. And there probably will be side effects for people. I'm not saying there won't be. But crocodiles, bearded ladies, and whiny little men. He went with the most, right-wing playbook. It's gonna turn you into fags! It's gonna make women into bearded weirdos. He really is the South American Trump. Oh, man. That's kind of funny that even though a lot of Trump's people are getting the vaccine, he himself will not, I don't think. He hasn't said he will. Seems pretty hesitant. I think he's going to go with the whole since I've had it thing. Why should I get it again? I have the antibodies, as Bolsonaro says.